Hey everybody, me here, and first of all, today is September 11th, so I'd like to say rest in peace to everybody who passed away today, all those years ago, and I hope everybody and their families has been able to, at least start healing, but it's a very somber day, so I'm going to give all of them a moment of silence right quick. All right. Well, today's morning group went pretty well. Usually we have about 5 books, I think, that we read out of for our morning meditation, and they have daily readings in them and everything. We only got like 2 done today, and everybody was really talking more vulnerably without the readings, and it was a beautiful thing to see. This was an absolutely awesome group this morning. I love being able to talk to people, to see their viewpoints on different things, to see them being vulnerable and talking about what kind of problems they struggle from. And it was really nice. It was a great group this morning. Just absolutely amazing. That being said, I made some bullet points for some things today from morning group. So the first thing was from a reading, because that's kind of what started everything. And it had to do with flexibility, pleasure versus happiness, brittleness, and adaptation. Well, flexibility is immensely important because, I'm learning to be less rigid because I, in the past, have very easily been broken by a lot of things, especially emotionally. And right now I'm trying to learn flexibility so that, every time something bends for me, I don't break immediately. And, that would throw me off course, and I don't want that. So I'm learning how to be more flexible and work better. And that goes with one of the 4 agreements, which is don't take everything personally, because you shouldn't. And if you do, it's going to make you miserable. And it's going to make you miserable for a long time. And shit's going to suck. So that's something that I personally have to work on. And, I'm doing it slowly but surely. I'll get there. Pleasure versus happiness. Yeah, that's a huge thing. Being able to differentiate the two is an enormous thing because, our drinking, our drugs gave us pleasure, artificial pleasure, dopamine, just huge amounts of it. And that's a big reason why we kept coming back is because of that dopamine. And, we were, for the most part, I don't think we were happy. I certainly wasn't. I was fucking miserable for the last 5.5 years or so. While I was drinking. It was just an absolute pile of misery. Things were fucking horrible. And I don't ever want to be like that ever again. And so I've started learning about things that make me actually happy. Being around animals is one of them. In primary care treatment, I was feeding squirrels out of my hands most days. And they weren't tame, they were wild. And I would just lay where they normally had their little bird feeders and stole out of them, and I'd fill my hand up with seeds and just lay there, be very still, and, eventually they'd come up and start eating out of my hands. And that's something that made me very, very happy. And, weather's something that makes me happy. I'm very interested in it. And so I'm trying to study about it just, as a hobby. Things to fill my time with that, I might not have known actually made me happy. Talking with people, helping people, something that definitely makes me happy, and making people laugh is probably the most fulfilling thing that I can think of. And so I'm still figuring out all the things that make me actually happy instead of just give me pleasure, because happiness is much more fulfilling. Pleasure is a fleeting thing. And happiness is something that I hope everybody finds and is able to, keep that going. Adaptation, just like flexibility, we're all going to find ourselves in situations that, change. We might find ourselves in new situations, ones that would, maybe give us anxiety and stuff like that. Because I know when I'm thrust into a new situation, I don't know much about it. I'm very anxious, and it takes me a while to, start rolling with it. And that's why I try, I've started to try to, kind of be vulnerable immediately, so people will know me better, and it's easier to kind of adapt to that situation, because the sooner I'm vulnerable with people and the sooner they know where I'm coming from, the more comfortable I am with them. And it's an almost immediate thing once I start being vulnerable. And that helps adaptation and flexibility immensely. We had a bit of a political discussion too, but it wasn't like, oh, you're a Democrat, fuck you. Oh, you're a Republican, fuck you. It was more about people being tired of that kind of thing. We see it all over the place. And there's a lot of people here that are not about that kind of thing, because it's division, and it keeps people fighting. There's infighting in the left, there's infighting in the right, and then the left and right are fighting each other. And from what I garnered from different people's opinion during that discussion was that there's too many people fighting. There's unnecessary hate from both sides, just because, oh, you're different, fuck you. Like everyone's constantly looking for an enemy, and that's got to stop. We got to be able to get together and, look for our similarities instead of focusing on our differences so much, because that's what's doing all the damage. A lot of people just have a lot of hate for no reason, and that's something else that got brought up in group, is hate and, anger. And I think that hate is something that, well, first of all, there was a phrase I heard a long time ago. It was hate breeds hate. And that's very true. You can't beat hate with hate. You can't beat hate by beating somebody. You can't beat hate by screaming at somebody or yelling at somebody or insulting them, calling them names, attacking them. That's not going to stop. That's going to dig them into more of a hole and give them resentments to you. They're not going to like that. The best way to treat that kind of thing is to be kind. As crazy as that sounds, and as difficult as that may be, try and be kind with them, and treat them like a person, even if they're vastly different for you. Again, look at the similarities in them instead of their differences, and it'll help at least to maybe start moving forward. Maybe they'll catch on. Hopefully they do. And thing is, if they don't, just try and keep them at an arm's length distance. Let's see. One reading we got done is talking more about, don't worry so much about how many people love you, but how many people you can give love to. And there was a good quote at the end of this reading that I wrote down, and it goes like this: love is not an investment, but a charitable contribution. And, to me, that means you shouldn't love somebody because they can give you something in return. That's kind of disingenuous. And you should love people because you love them. You should give love to basically everybody, and it's the more you give out, the more you give back naturally. But don't anticipate it, Don't be doing it just because you want love back. Do it because it's the right thing to do. And, things will come back to you. And that's really as simple as that. Let's see. After that, we had a discussion about growth, love for our fellow man, patience with others, and internalizing the emotion of others, which, goes back to the whole hate discussion. If somebody's yelling at you, screaming and stuff, it's going to get you upset, right? You'd probably be angry, you want some sort of retaliation or whatever. And that's us really internalizing their hurt and their pain, because hurt people hurt people. And, I've tried to see more of that and look less at, oh, this person called me a name, fuck them, but like, I am still upset when that kind of thing happens, but at the same time, after I've calmed down a little bit, I usually get to thinking, well, why would that person be like that? You know, what's going on in their lives? They've got to be fucking miserable, you know? Just being that angry all the time and shit, that's no way to live. Bringing people down constantly, there's something wrong, you know? And I'd rather help that than retaliate, because I want those people genuinely to have a happy and easier life and not be where I was for the last 5.5 years, just miserable and angry at myself, you know? It's, again, no way to live. You know, and growth is a huge thing. Being able to mature and recognize unhealthy modes of thinking on your part, and trying to circumnavigate that, or, you know, build it so you don't do that so much anymore. That's a very good thing. And yeah, patience with others, that's a big thing too, because I know it can be hard to be patient with people. And, you know, that's something that I think will definitely benefit all of us if we practice it. Because, you know, some people we might not agree with, and, you know, they might annoy us or something. They might come off as obnoxious or whatever. But patience is definitely something that we could all learn to use better, you know, and give people more grace. And as we learn patience and learn how to use it more, we're going to find, I think, that our life is a lot less stressful, you know, because we're not all keyed up about, oh, this person did this, or I got to have this right now, or whatever. Or like, I want change and it's going to happen right now. Like with recovery, especially, the change is not going to happen right now. It's just not. It's an endless road. It's something that you know, everybody in recovery, it's a struggle. Every day it's a fight. And like I said, the road's endless, and it's never going to stop. Some days are going to be easier. Some days are going to be harder. And all we can do is really learn how to get through the hard days in a healthy way, you know, and, you know, keep on with our lives and be grateful for the good times. And, you know, I've been trying to be grateful for the bad times too, because, you know, I feel like there's a lesson in all of them. You know, you can learn something, patience, you know, different things like that. And yeah, anyway, about to hit our next group for today. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good day. Bye, everybody.